This video, I'm going to be breaking down the best offense in college football 25. It is in the Oregon Ducks offensive playbook. And this playbook has a lot of good formations. It has normal Y off close. It has wing trips weak, Y off trips, trips tight and offset weak, trio Y flex, bunch strong offset, and bunch open offset as well as some 5 Ys and bunch quads. We're going to be primarily focusing our time today in this bunch strong offset, but do know that you can auto around into any of the formations, and there are a plethora of really good setups you can run out of them. Now, if you guys want to get my full Oregon offensive ebook completely updated, it is in our school community. Our school community is only $10. It gets you access to all of our offensive and defensive ebooks for college football 25 and for Madden 25. I've been playing a ton of college football lately, and so we've been dropping a ton of content for the game in our school community. Now, I like to run and pretty much spend most of the game in this bunch strong offset. And the audibles that I like to have are dagger, RPO, duo, alert post, corner strike, and then return PA flood. You're going to be coming out in this play flood every single time. And this is kind of the best play, in my opinion, in the formation. So the first setup of the play flood that I really like to run is the best one play touchdown in the game. All you're going to do is you're just going to stem this tight end all the way down. You're going to streak your slot receiver. And if you have time in the pocket and they run a cover 4 or cover 3 coverage, you will throw this all the way to the right side. And a lot of times this can get over the top, especially on a cover 3. I'll show it against cover 4 in a minute, but I do want to quickly just point out, like, it's really clean against cover 3. And then cover 4 could sometimes do what it just did there. But again, basically you're just going to pass me this all the way over here to the right side. And this receiver is going to have a chance to basically score a touchdown. See if we can get it one more time here. And if not, we'll move on. So you see here, just passing that to the right side. And there you see how he kind of splits through the safeties. And I will say, if you have takeoff in this spot, it's a little better. But in general, this is still a pretty good bomb for me as he gets bombed. If it doesn't work, you can always just throw the corner out. So, like, we'll just show that too. So you'll see here, if I don't get bumped, this should be open. I don't know why he's not running his route right. But there you see how you can kind of get it to the side. That's the idea with the route. And again, let me just put takeoff over there. But the biggest thing is if you have that takeoff ability, it makes this a lot better because the receiver just gets upfield a little bit better. So I would put my best 2 receivers honestly on the outside here. I don't know I hate the subs. I'll tell you one thing I don't like about college football is the substitution menu. I feel like the substitution menu is really, really bad because you can't see anything, but because they put those stupid stars on people's heads. All right, we got Johnson over here. Let's see if we can get it this time. If not, we'll just go to the next play. But I'm telling you, this is a good bomb. I've thrown it a lot this year, and there you go. So as you see, that's more of what's going to happen where you can kind of get it up and over the shoulder of the player. That is typically what you're going to see with this. And that's why I like this play. So again, you'll see here, and they have to, like, you're just pass leading this up and to the right. And if you get that pass lead, this is just a dangerous route. So again, I put my best receiver there, and normally if they don't switch stick to go defend it, it's a touchdown. If they press, which a lot of people like to press, if they do press on this, this is even easier. So you'll see here, I'll just blow right by him. At this point right here, we can just pass this up and to the right, and it's a lot cleaner if they do press because takeoff, okay? So, and every receiver, in my opinion, should have takeoff. If you're in cut, if you're in regs, just pick a decent team, right? Any of the top 15 teams probably have somebody with takeoff on their team. So anyway, so that's the basic idea. And then let's just say that you don't like the look or, that whatever, they play it pretty good. You can still throw the corner. Like, you can totally still throw the corner. The corner is going to be open, especially if they're hard flatting, which a lot of people in this game are going to be hard flatting. I'm going to talk about what to do if they're not hard flatting. But you see how I'm just pass leading that. I'm free forming that down and to the right. And that's another nice route that we have in the play. Now, the next setup is kind of the opposite of what we just did, where we take the top off. So this next setup, we're going to use a horizontal strain. So what this does is this is going to force them to have a vertical hook on the right side. and that vertical hook is going to have to be at 5 yards. This is one of my favorite routes to go to in the beginning of a game. I pretty much call this at least once a drive to just kind of force them to defend the underneath. So the setup is we're going to drag the tight end, flat the outside bunch receiver, and whip this inside. So it's kind of like dig return. And what you're going to see here is this little zig is going to get open in this little pocket consistently, and it's a very kind of honestly, it's just very difficult for them to defend it. It's here's a shade underneath. Shade underneath can defend it, but honestly, you can throw it inside as you see right there. So what they really have to ultimately start to do is they're going to have to run cover two with a shade underneath, and then once they start to do that, where they have a lot of yellow zones, right? Then normally we can either just throw this, because what'll happen a lot of times, what people will do out of a cover two is they'll call cover two, but then they'll recloud on the outside. So like they shade the yellows down and then recloud. Like this is something that I would do. So what you'll see here on this play is the tight end will get you some yards over the middle of the field over here on the left side, right? So honestly, this is the best way to defend this play, but then this is going to leave them susceptible if they do want to go to cover two. This is going to leave them susceptible to some of our cover two plays. So the way that I like to attack cover two in this formation is there's a couple different ways in which you can do it. Honestly, I personally really like just a basic double corner, and the way that I like to get to the double corner is I'm going to go with a corner route to the outside guy. I'm going to stem him down. I'm going to streak my tight end, and then I'm going to have the deeper corner over the top. Pretty simple way to get to it if you want, but this is really good against cover two specifically. So you see here's cover two, and you'll see that this deep corner just kind of gets into a real nice spot against the cover two. Now, another thing that I like to do, and this is more so for the bench pivot play that you can try, is you can go to a wheel on this outside guy, and then a couple different ways to get to this, but essentially what you could do is you still have that whip route, and then you can have a backside streak like this. And this can actually manipulate cover two pretty decently. You see here, Gabriel just had a bad throw. But again, you could kind of use this motion. It's still going to pull. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. I forgot you could still do that. But this little wheel here, and then I'd have like a whip like this. And then what'll happen is if they are in a cover two coverage to try to eliminate some of your underneath stuff, this wheel has a lot of space over here on the right side. It's hard to play it in cover two. So that's something that I'll like situationally, like if I'm getting cover two to that side, I'll put that in the playbook. I don't get cover two a ton, but this is something that I'll go to. Another one of my favorite plays in this formation, again, speaking of cover two that I like to go to, is this setup. This is just good old fashioned Durham. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to streak the running back. We're going to, I'll do this out of dagger actually, because we have this fade on the left. So we're going to streak the running back. We're going to drag the tight end, and then we're going to wheel this outside guy. Now, a couple different things that you can do with this slot receiver, and it's honestly preference. You can put him on a crosser if you like this route. You could put him on a post if you like the post. You can honestly leave him on a streak if you want to try to attack the seams a little bit more. Or you could put him on a 15-yard in. So you put him on an in route, stem him to 15 yards. Any of those will work. The reason I like this setup, again, for those cover two, right? You can kind of freeform this wheel again away from the deep half. And this is another one of those plays in this formation that I don't think is a bad idea if you want to motion this receiver outside. And the reason why, again, is just because this limits their ability to sit and cover two to the wide side of the field. We really want to take advantage of the hash marks in this game, and this is one of the ways that we could do that. Okay, so this is one of those things. Another one that I'll do from time to time against cover two is I'll do something like this, where I might motion this guy outside. Now, the reason I would do this is typically this cover two, you'll see this fade. See how he'll kind of like fade to the outside? I'm getting a lot of inaccurates, which is kind of crazy. But he'll fade to the outside. And then if you have this clear out streak right here, you can really do whatever else you want on the play. Like if you wanted to just do a drag. But what you'll typically see here is this fade is going to get wide enough that you can get it over the deep half. So again, these are just ways that we can attack cover two that, they're not going to want to have to deal with, right? Another thing that we have is if we really want to attack cover two, another thing you can do here while we're on the subject is you could have some type of corner route on the left side. I don't care what it is. The C route's fine. But I want you to watch this slot receiver. So you'll see this slot receiver. He is going to be one-on-one with this mid-read right up the crease. And that was actually a really good play by the safety. But the slot can hit, which is also leading me to my next point on flood. A quick hike play is this right here. So just simply streaking the tight end and snapping the ball. You'll see this tight end is going to run like straight up the middle of the field. This is okay against cover two. It has to do with the mid read, which a lot of people don't have a mid read that's going to match over the middle. They'll take that off the field or they'll user him. So if that's the case, right, then this becomes a lot more of a possible route combo for you. But essentially, what we're looking for, again, if we hit this, let's go back to that first setup and just see how this does. If we hit this against cover two, watch this slot receiver. You should be able just to throw this right up the middle, but the D-Paps actually play it decently. The other thing that you have against cover two, though, on this flood, is if you stem the corner down one and just basically run the play like this, then this is just a traditional flood at this point, but the tight end corner just kills cover two. As you see, it just runs right over the top, and you have a nice route to be able to attack cover two with. Let's talk about some more cover three, cover four type of beaters. One of them is this one. We're going to stem this slot up twice and basically have this combo right here. And what you're going to see is this post. You're going to look to throw this right underneath that quarter over the middle of the field like that. This is really good against cover three, and I'll show it against cover three in a minute, but I just want to show you that you can kind of peek this in. So you'll see here, watch when this post cuts, as that was a crazy shed. Let's contain. Let's see if we can get this post to work for you. You'll see here, pass lead down inside. You see how you can kind of hit him in that little window? Like it's kind of a tight window, but if you lab this up a little bit, this throw is pretty decent. Let me try to hit it one more time. It's getting kind of bumped. Practice mode. All right, we'll just leave it at that. But against cover three, this is a little better. So if they do run cover three, because the safety, you see here, that window right there is pretty nice against cover three to be able to hit. And then the other thing that I was going to talk about was just some basic shaded down man coverage beaters, because man coverage is kind of hard to beat in this game. It's typically shaded inside, shaded underneath. So one of the ways that you can beat man coverage is by using this kind of Durham setup right here, right? So if you take a look at this, watch this wheel on the right. When he cuts up field, a lot of times he gets that separation. Now, again, we're kind of in that weird kind of situation. This is where, again, you gotta kind of like fill the game out a little bit. But if they're running a lot of shade down man coverage like that, one of the things that I'll do is I'll go to dagger and I'll run that Durham setup where we're wheeling this guy and then we're putting this guy on a deep. I like the crosser against man this year, but basically this right here. And then what we'll do is we'll motion this guy out to get him a little bit more space to work on this side. Now watch this wheel route. When you motion him out, see how much better separation he gets, and then he's able to. He's typically able to attack that cover two man. Let me try to show that one more time, and then we'll talk about some of the other ways you can beat man. We do have a really good man beating corner in this offense too, that we haven't even gotten to that play setup yet, so no worries. But I want you to watch this throw. So it's up and kind of to the right like that, and you see there's cover two man. The deep half can't get out there, and that's why you use that motion out. The motion out is kind of a key thing to take advantage of the hash marks. Another setup that I like against man-to-man is kind of a crazy, not crazy, but just like a shallow setup. So what I'll typically do here is if they're running a lot of man coverage, one of the things you got to understand that's going to be open is this middle of the field. So what I'll do is I'll have a post route on this left side. I'll have a drag to my tight end. And then here you could do one of a couple different things. One of my favorite things to do is just a streak and then a backside slant or drag. And when I'm gonna motion him out just like last time, this time I'm gonna snap it while he's moving if I can. If I can't, I just put him on an end like this. But typically, what's going to happen is one of these in breaking routes are going to get open. Here, the post over the top. If you don't like post routes, which I have kind of a hit or miss relationship with post routes this year, to be honest with you. So, like an actual setup I would totally use. Let me put the halves back on the field. Is instead of using a streak, let's use a corner route. So we'll use a corner route. We'll do a drag, and then we'll do like an in. Okay, and then we can do a post. And again, this is a little bit of freestyling out of this formation, but you can do something like this. What this will do is one of them is getting open. One corner, one of them is going to get open against this play. Another play that I like against man that we haven't gotten into just yet is this corner strike corner, because it is a sharp corner, and these normally do a really nice job of beating man. Okay. We also have a speed end to the running back, which is kind of cool. So you can really do whatever you want on this play. You're going to build it around this corner. As you see right here, he can just fry man coverage. And so that's something that we like. It's also going to be a good read against zone, because if they're playing the shade down zone that most people will play in this game, this corner route, the deep quarter will never guard it. Like literally never. So they have to switch to that corner route. So one of my favorite setups here out of this, if I was trying to attack man to man, I think this is a pretty decent setup. Let me just get to it here. Is basically this. Whoops. Shade underneath. And so what we're going to do is we are going to drag our solo receiver. I think drags are just such a good route. You can leave the running back on his route if you want to. Or you could block him, or you could put him to the flat. Any of those three. You streak the slot and you post the tight end. This right here. The reason I like this setup is because if it's man-to-man coverage, you're going to have at least one route open, and it's normally going to be this corner route, right? You're going to have the corner, you're going to have the drag, you're going to potentially have the crosser to the tight end. You could put the cross here too. If you want a crossing route, that's fine with me. But the main reason we run this is really, and the main reason we use corner strike is because of this corner that he's on. You could also leave the running back on his speed in, and this running back kind of speed in when he cuts. It makes it a little mesh underneath. You see there's the drag. And so, I'm a big advocate for having a drag on a lot of different plays. Now, I did want to also go back to, because we didn't get a chance to talk about this, I did want to go back to this setup out of Dagger and just touch on this. So basically, we wheel this guy, we streak, and then again, I like the cross. Okay. Or if you want a 10, I like a 15 to 20 yard in route. Watch this running back though. You're gonna see here that you can kind of throw it in up. It's kind of like in Madden last year, where the running back route just basically was almost like a trust throw against man coverage. We'll try to show that here. Let me put the halves. But this running back, I feel like it just gets open a lot. So it's really going to get zone, but it also can work against man. So let me see if I can get it for you again here. So you see here, see how he's kind of got that inside position? If he's going to get the same type of positioning on a wheel, and so it just kind of depends on like how they're setting their shell up. But typically, here's the wheel. You'll see here, that time the half kind of helped top the route. But anyway, the running back is something you can throw in this game a lot, because the running back wheel has a ton of room to be able to work. So let's say like it's a zone play and you did this here. Watch this running back wheel. You see here. And the shade down yellow actually played it pretty good. But a lot of people, let me show you one other thing you can do. So like cover 2. If we go back to this play, let's see, let's do this setup. go with a streak, post, and then a running back like this, right? And then we can backside drag. So what'll happen against cover two a lot of times is this deep half will just get basically put in conflict, and then you can hit this against cover two as well. So just wanted to show this setup against cover two. Another thing that's actually pretty good that you could do out of this is you could go with a double wheel and do something like this, and then I would motion this out. This now is a cover two killer. If you just look at where the routes are going to go, watch this route against cover two. See how the wheels space well together, and that's just an absolute beam against cover two that you have access to. I'd be crazy if I didn't show you this setup out of Dagger. This is a really good just money setup. Just crosser the slot. I like to throw it right in that little area. For that slot crossing route, if it is not man coverage, I'm not normally going to freeform it. I'm just going to pass lead it. But this is such a good route combo in this game because the crosser gets into a throwable position really early in the route combo. And then you also have, like, let's say let's say they blitz you and they decide, okay, we're going to have to use the crosser. Like, this is a pretty common, it's only a send 4 blitz, right? So if you get something like this, what'll almost always be open is your backside tight end, kind of in this little trail position right in the middle of the field. It's a great little route to have. I like this route against man coverage as well. I like it against shade down man because, again, I think the crosser, which we haven't even really talked about yet, the crosser is just a really good man beating route. He's always going to, I just feel like the crosser always gets that inside positioning, and he's always able to just get into a really nice spot on the field. Now, speaking of a crosser, I think one of the more underrated routes in the game is this if I have it here, this deep cross. Yeah, I have the deep cross from this receiver. So I'll do this from time to time, and there's a couple ways that you can get to this play. What I really like is this kind of almost Texas concept where we have this running back angle. And then if you want to put a corner on the right, you could put a corner on the right. If you want to just have two streaks, you could have two streaks. But basically what I'm looking for is to throw this under this quarter, kind of right in this area of the field. Because what'll happen is as you're playing this game, you'll notice that a lot of people's deep zones, a lot of people's yellow zones play super deep, and that's where this running back Texas becomes extremely valuable because the running back Texas gets into a real nice spot. It's also this would be another play that I would love to run against man. I'd probably honestly do this at a corner strike so that I can have this short corner here. But basically, just a deep cross, a Texas, like something like this right here is really good. And you'll see against man coverage. Watch this running back route. He normally is going to be able to win right there. Dude, Gabriel's had some terrible throws. I do think Oregon is probably the best team in regs because you get a really good playbook for them. Like I could play regs all day with this and just run my 3-3-5 mint defense and then run this. But look at this crosser against man. Just look at how smooth it runs. I think it's a lot better than a post route personally. The one weakness of it is it doesn't bomb a cover two, which is why I did want to go back and talk about this. If you're looking to bomb cover two in this game, one of the best ways to do this is to wheel your running back and then motion him to the flat like this, have a post, and then on this right hand side, kind of could do a couple different things. But I think in general, it's probably just, either block the tight end and have a corner and a corner and a or a drag. Something like this is normally going to be good. But watch these deep halves. They're going to kind of expand out. And then this post is going to split the middle of the coverage. You could also do this from this motion, this play action play. The problem with this play action play, in my opinion, is I love the speed flat. It's kind of hard to manipulate this weak side deep half with this. It's going to play a lot better in college. So you'll watch this weak side deep half here. You'll see that I have to wait on this a long time. And then by the time I can throw it, the other deep halves at play, you have to kind of intentionally pull the deep halves out of the way this year if you're going to manipulate them. And so that's, again, that's just something you got to kind of pay attention to. This is why I really like, if we go back to this corner strike play, there is a little bit of a window here. is to run something like this, for example. I want you to watch this streak. So you see he's going to be one-on-one with this mid-read. And if I step up, I normally can get this throw off. I'm just kind of struggling in practice mode to show this. Let me try to show it one more time. But cover two, as you see, is like, it's like not good, but it's good, right? The deep halves are, and they just play a lot. They do kind of just play like, I don't know, kind of interesting. So if we go back to corner strike, let me go with the tight end post this time, the streak, and then again on this left side, you could really do whatever. I'm gonna just do this, and we'll just see how this plays. But you see how he's like one-on-one with this dude. If I can get it straight up field, I could probably get a better shot, but not able to hit it. So anyway, cover two is, most of the time what you'll get is this right here. You'll get like a roll coverage. So if they do go cover two, it's going to look something like this. And then, they're almost always going to send four. You almost always get a four-man in this game. But it looks something like this right here. So how would we attack this coverage? Well, this is where Dagger's a really good candidate to attack this. This is where, there's just a lot open here. One of the other things that I like to do out of corner strike that I didn't show yet, and I forgot, audible to the wrong play here. But one of the other things that I want to show you that you can do at a corner strike is you can motion the running back out, put him on a streak, and then on this backside, a couple different ways to do it. I really like, again, I'm a huge fan of the 15-yard in route, like super deep in route with a clear out. Something like this right here is a really good play. If you wanted to, you could do double seam streaks and then have a backside post. But in general, this is going to do a really good job of kind of manipulating that side, as you see. And yeah, I like this as well. But again, there's, the best way to manipulate cover two in college, it's slightly different than Madden, because in Madden, the weak side safety is not as big of a threat. But in college, it's definitely a threat. I think the best way to manipulate cover two in this game is just a streak, a corner, and then like a table. So even just something as simple as this, and you could even stem this down one. But if you watch how this plays, watch this corner route just cook that deep cloud flat, and that's not going to really, like, I'll show you. It doesn't really matter if that's a 30-yard cloud, because these hash marks in this game make it a lot easier to manipulate a coverage like a cover two Mabel. So let me just come back out and we'll go over this one more time. So again, this is out of a cover two shell, and we're using that 30-yard cloud, right? 30-yard flat zone. And I'll also make it a hard flat, because hard flats get back a little better than other zones. And you could run it like this. You could also run it, you could run it like this, right? It doesn't matter. But just watch how this flat is going to play it. You see here, he actually gets back kind of crazy good, I will say. But if we were to put a little bit more depth here, like let's just leave this tight end corner. Let's see if we can get this tight end over the top of this cloud. And you see that time we get him again. So it's just one of those things where I think it's personally like, I wonder if I actually called cover four there. But in general, this hard flat is going to be their best chance of stopping this. You'll see here. And you see right there, like he looks like he's going to be with him, but he really doesn't stay with him over the top. And that was the hard flat. Now, what's crazy is I almost feel like if I press, which we'll try this, I'm going to press with two hard flats. I want you to watch these hard flats. I feel like the press just sprints back for some reason. No, I'm still able to hit this. Yeah, I'm still there. So I must have just had him in a quarter for some reason. But anyways, you see the idea. So it's just a corner route. It's stemmed down one time, and then you have a clear out here to hold the deep half. This basically makes it hard to run cover two. And then if it's cover four, you can still just pass lead it down and to the right. And I'll show that against press cover four as well. But these again, it's just one stem down. You don't stem it all the way down. One stem down, and then you'll see here when he cuts to the sideline, you can kind of just throw it to the corner. So something like that. uh, that I think is really good. And this is a way that you can manipulate the cover two if you ever need to. Is a combo like that is really pretty hard for them to defend. Another coverage that I did want to go over is a. I don't think I need to go over that necessarily more. Let's try to take a look at some match coverage. So, a couple different ways to manipulate this coverage right now. The easiest way to manipulate match coverage, honestly, is just this drag right here. Because these quarter flats, they back up super far. And so you could just pepper them underneath, honestly. If you want a one play match, then what you can do, I believe the combo, it changes with every patch, honestly. But I think it's basically this right here. It's pretty hard for match to handle in bunch. Let's see if we can handle it. I actually handled it. Do I still have zone drops on? Let me go make sure I don't have zone drops on here so that we make sure we're getting this for you. I might have accidentally kept. No, that was how it was supposed to match. That just didn't look right to me. It didn't really look like match. It looked more like drop zone. The other thing about match is, a combo like this. Let's see if we can hit this over the top against match. You see how that fade is going to kill that match, right? So again, this is one of the reasons why flood to me is the most valuable play in the game because it can take the top off the defense. And then this is just basic cover four quarters, and you'll see eventually they'll just turn him loose. And I'll show it one more time here. So again, this is like literally the first play we went over. If it's cover four quarters, the quarters will eventually turn him loose, right? So you have a cover four beater within this. I feel like we've got to try this now against cover two because I'm on a mission to show that we can bomb every coverage. You can totally bomb with the tight end. You'll see here. See how the tight end just kills cover two? So, and if you wanted to, I like to try to get it as quick hikeable as I can. But you could also put this drag here, which is a little better of a check down when you're trying to bomb. Have something that's like super flat, like this, because it'll give cover two a lot of troubles. So anyway, so this is literally, I mean, there's so many more things we could do out of bunch strong. One of the underrated things is, let's say that you do this motion out a lot, right? And they always go to some type of cover three, like they basically check out of cover two all the time. What I like to do is this, like a little speed out. You could do whatever else you want on the play. I actually think running back wheel is not a bad idea here with this backside. But what I love this play because the speed out it's just a really nice route that they added into the game that you can have access to. Again, we didn't quite go all the way over this deep cross route, but I love this route. This is one of my favorite routes, and you could kind of build around that with either this corner or the corner out of corner strike. But watch this cross route. You could just pass like this down into the inside, and it just gets into a nice soft spot. It's honestly pretty hard to switch stick because if they switch stick to safety, then you have the streak. So there's just a lot of value in this play right here. Another quick setup that I did want to cover for, like, again, this is cover three, cover four, just a hot routed corner to the tight end. Just a simple short corner to the tight end is always something that you can have access to in this. And the beauty of this is your fade, this like clear out fade. Normally, which is actually kind of crazy. If I didn't get a red, that's probably a touchdown. If I can actually show it to you here. This clear out fade is going to clear out a cover three, going to clear out every deep zone. So they have to kind of go to him. And so that leaves this open underneath. You want the short corner, though, or you want to stem this corner down. But every now and then I'll just quick hike a short corner. Quick hike a short corner like this. So the thing I forgot to tell you now that I'm totally dawning on me that with match coverage, we have the running back. So let me actually just put the running back out because the running back on the right side is going to cancel match coverage. So I totally forgot about that. Let's see how this defends this. I think this is a touchdown. I think we should be able to hit the slot. Yeah, the slot was open. The tight end was open, but he got bagged late. So I'll show you this again. So this is, if you're ever in like an actual bunch formation that's not a bunch strong, you go to this setup right here. And this kills cover four match. Let me see here. See how that inside quarter just dumbs out? And it's a touchdown. So anyway, I can't believe I totally forgot we're in four strong, which is another advantage to four strong, honestly. Another one of my set. I love to motion this running back out a lot. I'll put him on a drag route. Something simple like this. I think this is a pretty good play. Like just call it like this. This is honestly a really good setup, and you still have the big play potential, right? And then you have the tight end corner. Let me actually see how this works against Madge because I'm kind of curious how this plays. What I would also do here is like a deep post, like a 15, 20-yard post. We'll just see how this goes. I actually didn't play bad. Post was still kind of a problem. But anyways, so these are my mainstay setups out of the Oregon playbook. I really like this flat route too. I don't know why people don't. It's almost like a slant out. Like it does a nice job out of corner strike. I've liked it for a while, but there's so much you can do in this offense. I really like the running back streak with this. We're not seeing it as much here because they're dropping so many people, but this running back streak really gets into a nice area of the field. And then I also love the whip route play. Like I can't stress enough. Like, can I zig this tight end? I didn't think I could, but I don't know why. You could also trail, do a little trail combo. Nothing wrong with this. Kind of get some conflict in the middle of the field. But yeah, there's just a lot you can do in this. Generally speaking, you want to run your bunch to the wide side of the field. I don't know if there's ever really a real reason. The only real reason to run your bunch to the short side is if you know they're in cover two and you're just trying to bomb cover two. This setup right here is really good for that because the deep half is just going to get creamed on this. I mean, it's just going to get shredded. So that's another option that you have. But as far as red zone plays for this, which it is kind of worth talking about because this formation is actually fairly weak in the red zone if there was a weakness of it. What I would suggest to you is I would suggest to try to run duo down here. Um, you can honestly, I might actually just put the regular duo run in this personally. But the main route that is worth going over, so like when you run duo, you can if you just like basically get the handoff and then you can kind of like cut any direction. So you can cut it in, you cut it out, you cut it left. So this is something that you could totally do. Like you could just sit here, say, okay, we're gonna try to just run the ball, right? And obviously I'm in an advantageous front to do that. And if they're in the goal line or something, you want to pass the ball, then that's where this comes into play. So normally down here you're gonna be on like a kind of you can sometimes kind of be in the middle of the field like this. So what I like to do is just put this guy on the left side on a hitch or a curl and stem him all the way down. I then like to short cross the. I'm sorry, like the. You could deep cross the tight end, or you could slant him. We're going to take a look at both of those routes. Sometimes you can be a little too close to deep cross, but then I like the flat zig. So the flat zig is the idea here. You see here, flat zig, and then watch this tight end cross, kind of in this backside. Okay, so what the slant will work fine too, but it's basically just the flat zones will go to this hitch, and then your tight end is going to be thrown over here, and I don't know why they're not letting me let me throw it. And then we can also throw this little zig like right here. A lot of times these zigs open. You got to realize they're going to be shading down more than likely. So you see, I can kind of just like, shade down yellow kind of gives it issues, honestly. But they're gonna have to have a shade down yellow over here, and then this tight end is normally more open than he's getting here. All right, I don't know why the tight end's not getting open. All right, we'll show you a different one. So if that doesn't work, you can always go to this trips set. So either one of these trip sets. Trio flex is cool, but basically you're going to put the tight end on a in route and stem him up till normally just to the very, not all the way to the back of the end zone like this, but what I like to do is put him just in front of the back of the end zone, so like this. Okay, on the left side you're going to go flat, and then you're going to go with a short cross here, and then to this running back, you're just going to either block him, um, or you can also. Do I have that route? You could also just motion this running back out and put him on that hitch, right? But generally, what you'll have here is one of these crossing routes will get open. Okay. Another thing you could do is you could motion the running back into a 5 wide here, flat, in route. And then on this right hand side here, you go flat, in route back of the end zone, and then something like this. So kind of a lot of action here, but basically you're just trying to kind of find these weak spots. Also, a big thing good in the red zone, scramble with your quarterback. But in general, these are some of the options that you have. I think duo is ultimately going to be your best option. Corner strike is cool because you can stem this corner down all the way, and then you can try to like throw this. See how this can kind of get open. So this is an option. What a lot of people like to do is they like to go to cover two, right? A lot of you like to go to cover two. That's where this hitch and slant combo. See how the cloud is just going to sit on the hitch, and then this gets open, kind of in that other area of it. So anyway, these are some different options that I suggest. Another setup I like out of Corner Strike here is we could just block the tight end. We're going to short cross this guy. We're going to streak the running back, and then we run it like this. This is pretty good because if they don't run cover two, then your corner is open. If they do run cover two, your hitch is open. So this is another one that you can have. But anyways, these are some of my favorite ways to use the Oregon offense. I think it's the best offense of the game. If you want to learn the full version of this ebook, it is in our school community. That'll be linked in the description down below.